Hey, what's up, everybody? This is your boy Kenny, and this is If Loving You Is Wrong, Season 3, Episode 3, and I believe the title of this episode is Boiling Point. And must I say, it had the right title for this episode. So, the episode begins where it left off from the previous episode, where Kelly and Esperanza are on the phone. And Esperanza, I must say, is the worst 911 operator known to man. I swear, this damn girl is so fucking unprofessional on the phone that it's beyond ridiculous. Like, you're gonna actually ask her to go in the house to check to see if there's a pulse, and the police are supposed to be on their way as well as the paramedics? Really? Esperanza's ass needs to be fired. You know, I agree with Eddie. Her ass shouldn't be working the night shift because she don't know what the fuck she's doing. Lame ass. Well, she's trying to get Kelly to go in and check, to further investigate the crime scene, which could tamper with evidence. And she's saying that it's okay, it's safe, and Kelly's like, you don't know that. She said, well, yeah, Alex said that there's nobody there. It's like, I'm not going to rely on that. So Kelly didn't go in. She stayed on the phone with her, and eventually the police showed up. They find Miss Louise, and they check and they find out that she has a pulse. So as of right now, Miss Louise is still alive. And after they wheel her out, we actually see that the lieutenant goes to talk to Kelly. And they have a conversation, and then the next thing you know, he brings up Brad's name. And she's saying, well, what does Brad have to do with this? And the lieutenant pretty much says that, look, according to Miss Louise, she said that Brad was involved, and that Brad and Alex were a part of this. So immediately Kelly is freaked out because she's like, oh my God, what the hell is this all about? And I'm going to get back to that because she eventually, gets in touch with Marcy to try to find Brad, and there's a lot that happens with that. So after that, we go to the hospital. And Natalie is completely frantic because they just willing in Joey and Fawn. She's worried about Joey. She goes to talk to one of the. She pretty much goes talks to one of the people in the hospital, and they're asking questions about Joey, his age and all of that. And she answers the question that she had insurance, and then when Kelly says no, that bitch got up and walked the fuck away. And I'm like, you disrespectful bitch. Her son just got shot. Regardless of the fact that she has no insurance or not, you still give her the time of day, because this is a woman who is obviously shaken up about what happened to her son. And she just was like, oh, you don't have no insurance? Fuck you, bitch. And just left her there. So they actually go find the nurse, and that nurse is also Andrew's girlfriend. They go talk to the nurse, and she pretty much says that, why did that lady stop talking to me after I told her that my son didn't have any health insurance? And Kelly's panicking to Lucius, because Lucian is actually right there with her. And she's saying that, look, we have to get him out of here because he's not going to get the best proper care here. He has no insurance. And then Lucian's like, he's going to be fine. We're going to care for him. So they go talk to the nurse. The nurse pretty much gives them, the textbook answers to the questions. Like, well, he's, right now he's in surgery, and we can't do anything until after the fact. So it's like, well, so what is it? Like, once he comes to, you guys are just going to throw him out of here? He's like, well, usually it's like, so you're telling me that once he comes to, you're just going to throw him in a county hospital? And she's like, well, technically that is what happens at times. So they were just completely done with her ass, because it's like, girl, you really don't give a fuck. And, and that's true about some hospitals, especially private hospitals, where if you don't got no insurance, they're not going to treat you no matter how severe the situation is. But if it's a shooting, they'll aid you, but once you come to, they're going to just forward you over to a more economically friendly hospital where you'll get further care, which is insane. Because I feel like regardless of the situation, they should treat the patient. Because at the end of the day, the patient is the number one thing that matters. So we actually see that Kelly is emotional, Lucian comforts her, and that's the end of that scene. Next, we see back at the precinct, Julius is still in that birdcage, and he's talking to Ben. Him and Ben are going back and forth. Julius lets Ben know that, look, I know Eddie shot you. I know what you up against. And he's saying that, so tell me, what do you really think about Eddie? And Ben told him, I hate him. He's like, yeah, you hate him enough to kill him? And then all of a sudden, Ben starts to kind of tense up a little bit. And I'm like, see, that's one thing we can say about Ben. Ben, you know, puts off this hardcore demeanor, but then Ben is very fragile, which is why his outward demeanor is so tough, because he's trying to hide the fact that he's actually fragile and could be easily taken advantage of. Because Julius starts flipping the game on him, letting him know, like, look, you can come work for me, and I'll look out for you, and, you know, you can stop being Eddie's bitch, and I'll have you covered. And he's saying, don't worry about Eddie. Eddie pretty much is a street dog, but you can be prime. And I'm just thinking, Julius is like blatantly flirting with Ben, because obviously he's taken by him. And I think at first Ben is intrigued, but then again after a while, I think he starts to see that, Julius, she kind of on some other shit, and I don't know if Ben gonna be down with it. But then again, Ben's a druggie, and hey, druggies will do anything to get high. So I think he's playing off of that. And so he kind of makes an alliance with him. He gives him his number, tells him to call him, and, they can, get together, and they can, work out something. I'm like, Ben, watch your back with that one. You're going to fuck around and end up walking funny. Don't play with Julius. I mean, because Julius was kind of giving that vibe to me. I don't know if anybody else picked it up, but I definitely picked that up. That, yeah, he was definitely flirting. And he was flirting hard with Ben. So he's saying that Ben is somebody I can use to get on my team to take down Eddie. Because I think regardless of whether Eddie, handles the people that he wants killed, he wants to kill Eddie anyway. So I'm thinking he's still working an angle where he's still going to have a backup plan to take Eddie down regardless. Next thing you know, after that, we see a scene with Esperanza and Eddie. Eddie talking buku shit to her, talking about what the fuck have I told you about working the night shift? You need to be home taking care of our little girl. And he's like, where the hell is our daughter at anyway? I know you ain't got her at ghetto-ass Natalie's house. And she's like, no, she's with Kelly. Oh, you got her with another black child. Like, you got her with another black one. And I'm like, you blatant racist motherfucker, Eddie. Like, just rude as fuck. Like I told you, you're not going to be working at night. You need to be home taking care of our daughter. And Esperanza, pretty much in a nice way, told him that, look, I'm trying to make sure that me and my daughter are cared for because, before you get taken down. And Eddie's like, girl, that's bullshit. Ain't nobody going to take me down. And Esperanza's like, oh yeah, you're going down. Because it's like all the mess that Eddie has created is about to come back and bite him in the ass. So Esperanza is pretty much telling herself, I got to care for me and care for this child because Eddie is not going to be reliable. And Eddie's not going to be able to be there for me and my daughter. So they go back and forth, and next thing you know, he puts it out there. He's like, well, he said, I think he kind of makes the thing, well, it's a good thing you have her at Nellie's house. I mean, I won't want her going over there with all that shooting and shit. And Esperanza's like, what are you talking about? He's like, there was just a shooting at Nellie's house. You know, her black son just got shot. You know, it's right up there. I mean, can't you read? I mean, you know, so Esperanza immediately, I didn't even say Natalie, well, Esperanza immediately freaks out because she realizes that, you know, Joey got shot, and and then it's like she completely was like, oh my God, this is crazy. So she pretty much is packing up, you know, trying to leave, and then she drops the bomb that, well, Alex, you know, is out looking for her son because her son was kidnapped, and Randall's missing, and his mother, Miss Louise, was assaulted, was physically assaulted. And he's like, well, how do you know about that? She's like, look at the board, fool, can't you read? So it's like she flipped the shit back on his ass. So them damn two, they're just a hot ass mess, and I cannot wait for Eddie to get his. And I think the fans definitely want Eddie to get a taste of his own medicine, because Eddie has done so much shit. But then again, I think it also needs to trickle down on Esperanza's ass, because Esperanza knows of all the dirty shit Eddie has done, and she has completely covered for him the entire time. I mean, I know you loyal because that's your baby father, but your baby father is blatantly evil and doesn't give a fuck about human life. But then again, it's like she got that thing about that bad boy persona, and Eddie knows that. That's why Eddie constantly fucks with her, because she's a simple weak bitch. Alright. Next scene, Terrell calls back Kelly. But this time, and Terrell is Kelly's baby daddy, for those who don't know who Terrell is. But Terrell is not alone on the phone. He has his mother on the phone, and they're on a three-way call. And the mother is played by none other than Miss Janet Hubert. And I'm like, yes, Tyler Perry then gave her a job. And I am so happy for her, because I definitely was a big fan of her on The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air when she played Aunt Viv, you know, Black Aunt Viv, and she was amazing. But of course, we definitely saw the video about with the Oscars So White with Jada Pinkett, you know, going out, you know, boycotting, you know, pretty much in a way saying that she was not going to be attending the Oscars, and you know, she's pretty much went to this whole boycott because, you know, Will Smith didn't get nominated for Concussion, and then Janet Hubert did a video where she attacked both Will Smith and her. So I'm glad that Tyler Perry got her a job where she can stop being bitter about Will Smith and Jada, and she can focus on her acting. But she had me laughing as soon as her ass, like I told you, like, I don't know why you even talking to this bitch. I mean, just his grandmother off the hook. She's like, I don't know why you calling her. I mean, hell, you up there doing time for something that she did. She can't call you. She ain't been in touch with you. She don't even bring the grandson to come over and see me. And Kelly is just mute on the phone, because she's like, oh shit. And then eventually Terrell's like, you know what? I'm gonna call you back, Kelly. And she's like, and the mother's like, I don't know why you gonna call her back. She ain't gonna answer the damn phone. She ain't been answering it. Well, next thing she gonna answer it now. And so he hangs up the phone. He calls Kelly back, and they give her the option. You know, this is the Department of Department of Corrections. You know, 5 to accept the call, 7 to reject the call, or simply, you know, hang up. She waited for a minute, and I'm like, girl, answer that damn phone. And Kelly's stupid ass hangs up the fucking phone. So not only do you got Travis selfish crazy ass after you, you now about to have your damn baby daddy after your ass. I'm like, You dumb bitch. Like, you just fucking created so much fucking drama for yourself. I don't know how you're going to survive it. Because you know Travis is still staking out your house. As a matter of fact, before the police showed up, Travis was right outside of her front door. And as soon as he saw the police, he pulled the fuck off. So, Travis is not going anywhere. And then now you're going to have the baby daddy after you because now you're avoiding him. So it's like, Kelly, you done created some shit. So, Eddie gets back to the precinct. He sees that Julius is locked up in the birdcage. Eddie goes and unlocks it. Andrew's like, yo, Eddie, what the hell you think you're doing? So what the hell it looks like I'm doing? You better back the fuck away from me. And then Andrew's like, I'm going to go to the captain about this. Like, you ain't going to do shit, boy. You better fall the fuck back. So he's like, you better take your little punk ass on somewhere. So he lets him out. Then all of a sudden, Ben comes and joins them. And it's like the three of them. It's like three of them and one of Andrew. And then Andrew's like, what the hell is this? He's like, I'm letting him go. You know, what do you think? What the hell do you think we're doing? He's like, you know what? I'm going to go to the captain about this. This is bullshit. And then Ben's like, go ahead. Sign your death certificate. And I'm like, yeah, man, yeah. The fucking captain's corrupt, and we all know this now. So, going to the captain would be the wrong fucking move, Andrew. Pipe the fuck down. And Lucian already told your simple-minded ass to fucking only report to him, and that you two report to each other. So you going to the captain is putting yourself in harm's way. So I hope Andrew pipes the fuck down and doesn't go that route, because Eddie pretty much is the kingpin at that precinct, and Eddie could have his ass taken out. So They let Julius go. They get him back his cigars, and Julius is unfazed by the whole thing. He pretty much thinks it's funny, and he's not even bothered. He's like, man, fuck this shit. It is what it is. I'm good. And then he's like, oh, rookie, good job. I fucked with fucking Julius. As fucked up as he is, Julius is so fucking funny, and he's crazy as shit. So I really like Julius's character. I mean, the guy is really doing a great job. I mean, he's playing that part. Next, we see Randall in the box. He's panicking. The next thing you know, we see some watery substance being poured on him, and he freaks out because I think it's gasoline. I think they're about to set this motherfucker on fire. So, I think, Randall's about to go up in smoke, y'all. We're going to peep that. Next, we see Julius and Ben. Julius is outside waiting for his car to come from the impound. Him and, Ben start talking, and he's like, he gives him a cigar, and he's like, oh yeah, I got that good stuff too, you like that pure Colombian. He's like, oh yeah, I love that. He's like, shoot, but something like that, you have to go to Miami. He's like, oh, I can go to Miami like it's nothing. Shoot, you should roll with me sometime. He's like, I ain't got the money like that working here. He's like, I can work that out. That ain't nothing. I can make that happen. I'll take care of everything. You just roll with me and, do what you gotta do. And then, Ben is pretty much kissing his ass, talking about something, oh, your father was a legend, and, I really look up to you, and all of this. So, Julius is eating this shit up, and he's like, okay, I'm gonna find your weakness, and I'm gonna fucking expose that shit. So, immediately when he starts talking about drugs, fucking Ben starts acting like a kid in Toys R Us. He's like, oh yeah? Oh, that pure Colombian? I'll do anything for that. He's like, oh yeah? He's like, well, not anything. I'm like, with him, you gonna do anything you want to get that motherfucking Colombian, bro. Mm-hmm. You gonna get on all fours and you gonna do some tricks to get that Colombian. I'm just saying. So, that scene went down, and You know, he was trying to tell him, like, yo, won't you come roll with me? We can go talk and, you know, we can catch up. He's like, well, I can't leave. And he's like, why? Eddie's watching you like that? And he's like, yeah. He's like, okay, you got my number. Holler at me. We'll set something up. Probably do something. We'll probably meet up when you get off. He's like, okay, okay. And then he goes back in. Next, we see Alex is driving, frantic, calling, making calls, trying to look for her baby. Finally, she reaches her mother, and her mother was literally paying her ass dust. Was like, I don't know what you're talking about. She's like, Mom, I saw you in the pickup truck. I know you took my baby. Where is he? She's like, I don't know what you're talking about, girl. I mean, the only son I know you had is at home with you. Or are you talking about your bastard child? And Alice is like, Mom, don't do this. Please, please, give me back my son. Please, please. And she's like, well, I'm sorry, sweetheart. I think we're having some technical difficulties here. I can't really reach you. Click. So, like, Alex, you done fucked up this time. And you done fucked up in a way where I don't think you're going to be able to come back from. Because now they done got, now you know. So she knew the whole time that her mother had the baby. And at first the mother wasn't answering the phone. But then when she called back, the mother was just playing straight up dumb with her ass. Like, oh, I don't know what you're talking about, sweetie. Like, no. I have no idea. I mean, your father went to take care of the thing, but, you know, you haven't seen no baby. I don't even know where the baby is. I mean, she was straight playing it up like it was nothing. Next, we see Marcy and Brad. And let me say, Marcy and Brad are starting to get on my fucking nerves. Mainly because Brad is letting her know he wants her, but Marcy is still playing hard to get and shit. Then all of a sudden, both of their phones are going off. Brad is not answering his, and eventually he tells Marcy she needs to answer her phone. And when she answers it, it's Kelly. And the lieutenant is standing right there with her, and she's asking, have you seen Brad? And she said, no, I haven't seen him at all, even though Brad is right there next to her. Then she's asking questions like, well, do you know where Brad could be? She's like, well, I have no idea. So next thing you know, the lieutenant gets on the phone. The lieutenant starts talking to her and is like, look, it's very vital if you know where he is to let us know, because, you know, pretty much the lieutenant pretty much let her know. Well, actually, I think Kelly was the one that let her know that Randall's missing. Miss Louise was physically assaulted. It's a really bad scene, and also Alex's baby has been abducted. So all of a sudden, Marcia starts piecing things together. Then all of a sudden, the lieutenant gets on the phone and starts to question her more, and she still is denying that Brad is there. And then even the lieutenant's like, are you just saying he's not there because you just don't want us to know anything? Or you just don't want us to know that he's right there with you at this moment? And then Marcia gets off the phone, and then the lieutenant's like, have that call traced. So they like to find out where Marcy lives at, because Kelly didn't know where she lived. But the lieutenant's like, yeah, we're going to trace that call. Next thing you know, Marcy's like, okay, you got dirt on your boots, and I know you went up in no mountains. You want to tell me what's going on? Next thing you know, Brad comes behind Marcy and starts to choke her ass up. And I'm like, whoa, it's about to get real now. So that's my review for tonight's show. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. You know, leave comments. You know, like this video, and I will be back next week for. I have to say, this was a really good episode. So I will be back next week for another review of If Loving You Is Wrong. And until then, guys, take care.